Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at TF-1726 for the Separatists of Star Wars Armada, and we're going to be building a fleet with this little droid here who packs such a big punch for only 26 points. He is one of my favorite commanders of all time, and I think he's a fun commander to fly. I also think that there's not enough people playing Separatists out there. I know the Clone Wars factions are a little light, but this guy's still a lot of fun. He's usually kind of the same with how he tends to get run, but I'm doing something a little different than the last couple of times that I've run him before. So we're going to be building a fleet with this guy. So if you guys are new here to the channel, we are doing a giveaway right now for a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. I'd love to know who some of your favorite Separatists are in the Clone Wars. And let me know what you think of the list. We also have links to social media and our Discord. Love to have you join. Links are going to be down in the video description. So let's talk about TF-1726. He's 26 points once per activation while a friendly ship is attacking a ship. The attacker adds a black die to its attack pool for each raid token the defender has to a maximum of 2 additional dice. This one is glorious because it is giving us 2 extra black dice when we attack, and that's just basically how it works. It's lovely. It's super fun, and that's kind of all there is to it. It's pretty straightforward, but they have to have raid tokens, and so you have to be able to give them raid tokens, which the Separatists are generally able to do. Giving raid tokens is also nice because it also slows down your opponent's activation plans, and it means they may not be able to do quite as much as they want, especially if they're running squadrons. You this kind of naturally wants to screw up enemy squadrons. It allows you to play mind games with them. Maybe you don't give them a squadron raid token. Maybe you give them something else, and now they have to choose: do they want to cancel their dial to get rid of all of their raid tokens so you won't get extra dice, or do they want to not activate squadrons? You're giving them a choice, but when you give them a choice, sometimes they make the wrong choice. So that's always a fun thing. Either way, it's something that you can exploit. Either they're not sending their squadrons after you, or you're getting extra dice going after them. So he's just a great way to mess with people. So I generally enjoy this dude quite a bit. So let's talk about the fleet because I think he always works well with lots of these. With having a lot of ships, with having things that can put raid tokens out there. I'm going to start off with a hard sell battle refit. I'm going to make this my flagship. And one of the reasons for this is some of the ships that I'm going to put into this list are going to be going farther forward, are going to be getting shot at first, and I want to give my opponent some real tough choices. Again, the more choices you give to your opponent, the more chances they make a mistake, and so I love feeding my opponent some difficult choices. And so putting my commander on a small but tanky ship that's going to stay kind of farther in the back is a very exciting thing to do. Now, I'm not going to be running squadrons in this fleet, and I'm going to try to run as many activations as I can. So we're going to keep this one pretty light. I'm going to put the B2 rocket troopers on the hard sell too. Again, this is how we are going to be putting out raid tokens on our other ships. This is how we're going to get them out there. We're going to be using lots of B2 rocket troopers. I'm also going to run a whole nother hard sell. And the hard sell is just great for so many reasons. It's got 3 dice in the front, and it's got 1 dice on the sides too, so you can still get the side shot if you need to. It's got a brace for a small ship. It's got 5 hull. It is fairly maneuverable. It's fairly survivable, and it has 3 engineering too, so it can actually put itself back together. And it's got 2 dice for anti-squadron, which makes it pretty effective at a multitude of roles, even serving as a potential flagship because of the brace, the 5 hull, and the 3 shields in the front. Makes it not terrible. It's not a terrible choice. Of course, if you're doing a build like this, you can certainly swap it out and make a different ship your flagship if you want. When you see what else I have planned, you'll see why. I'm also going to put a Gozanti cruisers out there. Again, the Gozantis were part of Rapid Reinforcements. This is basically just a new card that you can run over your Imperial Gozantis as a Separatist, which is really, really fun. It's still mostly the same, but the upgrades are going to be a little bit different, as well as the point cost. And so with this one, it has an ion cannon slot, and so I'm going to give the Gozantis the high-capacity ion turrets turbines rather, which is going to give us an extra little bit of firepower. This is a really like a nice little gunship here. We've got a blue die on the front. We've got 2 blue dice on the sides. If we get one of those side shots plus potential of activating TF-1726, we can throw a whole lot of dice from this little flotilla that can also scatter as it kind of runs away. I just think it's a real fun thing to surprise people with a Gazanti that can throw as many, can control 5 or even potentially 6 dice in one activation. I love it. I love it. Well, I guess potentially 7. I think 7 is the you could max out on this one normally. If you had, if you had double arc on somebody, if you had 2 shots, you could throw 2 out the left, 2 out the right. So it'd be 4. You add 2 for CF or TF-726 to one of those shots, and then you concentrate fire on one of those shots. And so that's 7. And of course, there's other things that can add dice as well, but that's kind of how we are looking right now. Now it's time for the big ships. We got 179 points already. We got 3 activations. We want a couple more. We want some big activations. I'm going to start with my favorite ship to put into a TF-1726, and that's going to be a Recusant Support Destroyer loaded up with the beautiful Patriot Fist. I mean, Light Destroyer, rather. Light Destroyer, this is just a complete blunt force instrument. This thing is going to just destroy a lot of ships, and this will probably be one of your opponent's first priorities. Already you're making them choose, as even if 1726 does die, this ship is still an incredible threat. So a lot of people will go for this ship first. And so we're going to put the Patriot Fist title on this one. This one is a beautiful one. If you're at medium or long range, your first attack, you can add 2 blue dice to your attack pool. If you do, you can't attack again. So he's just getting, basically he's only getting 1 attack, but that is perfectly all right, because that 1 attack is going to also get 2 black dice from TF-1726. He's made to go with the Patriot Fist. That means this 1 attack is going to have 4, up to 4 extra dice added to it, and maybe a 5th if we've Concentrate Fire. So again, even at long range, we can roll 2 black, 2 blue, and 4 red, right? There's so much we can do with it, and then we're not done. We're not done yet. We're going to put swivel mount batteries on this one. What that does is that lets us roll. I want to remove basically the black die from our sides and put it on our front. Hey, we only had 1 shot anyway. That is no problem. So now we're rolling 4 red, 3 black, and 2 blue out the front. And that's before any Concentrate Fire. But that is all assuming we have multiple raid tokens on the enemy ship. And that's something that, of course, you've got to do. What else we're going to do? We're going to put Ordnance Experts on here. We want to be able to re-roll those black dice. We want to have a black dice critical effects. I'm going to put Assault Proton Torpedoes on there. And we are going to also put the B2 Rocket Trooper on there. Now we've got 3 different ships that have the B2s. We have multiple ways of putting out suppression. I mean, putting out raid tokens. Suppression is a Star Wars Legion term, and of course it's kind of a similar effect here. You're definitely keeping your opponent from doing the things that they want to do. But I want to run a second Recusant in this build, and a lot of times people will stop at 1 because Patriot Fist is so good. But we're going to change things up a little bit. I want to run a Recusant Support Destroyer here, a little bit of a different dice profile on this one, but we're going to be taking advantage of some of its upgrade potential, because I want my opponents to attack this one first. This guy's job is to be a distraction to keep the Patriot Fist alive and to keep my flagship alive. And the idea with this ship is it wants to get in your face so fast and be so much of a threat that you just can't ignore it, that you must not shoot Patriot Fist, you must shoot this ship right here. So this one will probably be taking the lead, and we'll give it a couple of upgrades. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, I'm going to give it boarding troopers, because it does have, of course, the weapons team and multiple offensive retrofits, so I can give it boarding troopers while still having room for the B2 rocket troopers to go on here as well, which is a really nice functionality that the support destroyer has. And the boarding troopers is going to let me reveal either a token or a dial. Probably I'll take a squadron token on the first turn, and then be able to pop boarding troopers. And what this is going to do is let me exhaust somebody's defense tokens, probably the enemy flagship or whatever my target is intended to be. which is going to be really nice when comboed with, of course, the B2 rocket troopers, which then put a raid token on there, and then I attack. And this, by the way, this ship can attack twice, so if I happen to line up a double arc on the enemy ship as well, I'm going to have some beautiful options there. I'll also point out that this guy happens to have red anti-squadron dice, so I can, if I don't have that perfect shot on the early rounds, I can still start doing some flak on the first rounds of the game to kind of soften up enemy squadrons for when they get closer, and my hard cells can hopefully finish them off. That's kind of what we're hoping for here. So this is kind of a multi-role ship in that aspect. We are also going to give ourselves the linked turbo laser towers on this one. This is going to do so many different things. This is going to allow us to reroll all of that flak when we're doing those anti-squadron attacks, but it's also going to let us have a little extra dice if we need to take out some really important squadron like an ace, or if we just want to attack enemy ships and have a little bit of red dice mitigation. It's one of the greatest upgrades in the game. The linked turbo laser towers is just absolutely fantastic, and I always suggest people check it out. It's you never take linked turbo laser towers and regret it. Never happens. It's always useful in every situation. So that's and that puts us at 400 points. So we have this ship that's going to get close. It's going to be spending all your defense tokens. If somebody's running one of those big Starhawks, and all of a sudden I get to exhaust 3 of your defense tokens. Now, the Starhawk is definitely very survivable, but if I can completely cripple it on my first activation and exhaust 3 of its defense tokens, I can be like, oh, by the way, 2 of your braces are now totally orange, and oh, by the way, so is your salvo or your redirect, and now maybe you have Walix Blissix, but now you're having to use him, but I'm going to have all my other ships shooting at you also. It's just, it becomes a priority 1 target. Absolutely. And by the way, it's also going to do a whole lot of damage, and it's got the B2 rocket troopers, and I can do so much anti-squadron damage also with the B2 rocket troopers as well. There's a whole lot of really fun stuff here. By the way, I love this because it's like, well, attacking a squadron, you may exhaust this card. If you do, add 1 die of a color already in your attack pool to your attack pool. So this means he can roll 2 red when he's attacking a squadron, and I can also pop the linked turbo lasers. I can get so many dice on an ace if I needed to. It's just, I just love it. I love this combination. If you need to go after squadrons, you can. But again, this is still going to be a big threat against ships because all of the dice it has in its armament are also going to get upgraded when we do that one shot that uses TF-1726 as well. Although this one won't be generally rolling 2 dice, because this one might be my first ship to shoot. He may be activating first, popping the B2 rocket troopers, putting that first token on a ship. It's possible he may only get the 1 extra black die, and then it'll be up to everybody else to try to put the second one on there and take advantage of that. Just a really, really fun list of different ships. And we've got a couple different varieties, right? We got 2 hard cells, 2 recusants, and a Gozanti. We got some fun stuff going on in this list. It's time for our objectives. So for red, I think you've got 2 real options here. I think surprise attack is a great option because it does, for one, it puts that enemy flagship out in the middle of the open, and of course it gives you the option to put tons of extra tokens out there. I really love it. They're going to gain those raid tokens, right? So I like that one, but in this case, I'm going to go with opening salvo because it's so rare that people give me opening salvo, and I really like it, especially for a list like this. It kind of guarantees that I'm going to get lots of extra black dice, right? Lots of extra black dice. So I think it can be really beautiful. Now, next up for our yellow, I want to go with Fleet Ambush. It's a little bit similar to the other one. It excels when you do not have squadrons, because squadrons must be deployed last, so you can see where all of the enemy's ships are going to be. And of course, it also they have to stagger them. Some in the odd numbered ones go inside the middle of the board in that middle deployment zone, and then the even numbered ones have to go at the back edge. So you kind of force your opponent to at least partially split up their fleet, which is always a nice thing to do. Next up, we have the Solar Corona. Again, also favoring me that having no squadrons, you have to completely deploy first. and I get to remove dice from you when you attack me if I'll deployed correctly and you don't completely outmaneuver me, and it really helps with things like the hard cells that want to be pointed at the enemy and then want to kind of fly straight at them if possible. It allows me a lot of flexibility when setting up the board and making sure that I have a good initial deployment. And that's the list, everybody. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Here, let me pull it up. I think I can pull up a kind of a print view of it right there. You can kind of see the list if you wanted to. There it is. Let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you guys later. May the force be with you. Be excellent to each other, and always wash your socks. Party on, dude. So say we all. And have a great day. Goodbye there.